Welcome to NTD Newsroom. We have a lot of stories in store for you today. The U.S. expecting a response from Iran on a deal to end the war, what Secretary Rubio says could pose challenges, and what's behind fresh U.S. strikes against Iranian targets. A federal trade court strikes down President Trump's 10% global tariffs. Why judges say the administration exceeded its authority. The luxury cruise ship dealing with the deadly hantavirus outbreak is on its way to a Spanish island. Why locals on the island remain worried despite the WHO announcing a supposed plan to contain the virus. The Pentagon releases new UFO files. The initial release includes over 160 files, including old State Department cables, FBI documents, and NASA transcripts. Virginia's top court overturns a Democrat-backed electoral map. The ruling preserves multiple Republican congressional districts ahead of the midterms. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles honored in Washington. President Trump praising her leadership and resilience in a recorded message.
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. The U.S. could hear back from Iran as soon as today on a proposal to end the war. It comes as though the two sides again trade fire, and as U.S. forces hit two more Iranian tankers that tried to breach the U.S. blockade. Joining us now live is NTD's White House correspondent Iris Tao. So, Iris, what do you have for us today?
Good afternoon to you as well, Don. So today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announcing that the U.S. could hear back from Iran as soon as today about a U.S. proposal to end the war. Secretary Rubio saying that he's hoping that it's a serious offer, but also noting that Iran's disjointed leadership could be posing challenges. Watch.
We're expecting a response from them today at some point. We have not received that yet, as you know, in the last hour, but perhaps that will come. Their system is still highly fractured and a bit dysfunctional as well, so that may be serving as an impediment. I hope it's a serious offer. I really do.
And it comes as the U.S. forces have now hit another two Iranian oil tankers that try to breach the U.S. naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. The Central Command emphasizing that the naval blockade remains in full effect, actually just revealing new numbers, saying that they have now redirected 57 commercial vessels and disabled 4 to prevent the ships from entering or leaving Iranian ports. And that is to squeeze the Iranian regime economically, as the Central Command says that they're preventing oil worth tens of billions of dollars from reaching Iranian ports. Of course, the ultimate goal is to make sure that Iran comes to the negotiation table and make a serious response. Back to you.
So, Iris, in addition to disabling more Iranian oil tankers, the U.S. also hit Iranian facilities for launching what it calls unprovoked attacks against U.S. warships. Can you tell us more on this?
Sure. So the U.S. and Iran actually traded fire for a second time this week. And that as the Central Command saying that Iran used missiles, drones, as well as attack boats to attack 3 U.S. destroyers transiting the Strait of Hormuz. For self-defense, Central Command says that the U.S. struck not only the Iranian attack boats in the Strait, but also targets inside Iran responsible for the attack, including drone and missile launch sites as well as command centers. President Trump, meanwhile, making clear that a ceasefire is still in place, calling the U.S. response just a love tap. And also Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying that it's entirely separate from Operation Epic Fury, which was meant to destroy Iran's military capabilities. He says the latest response is for self-defense. Watch.
If you fire at a U.S. Navy ship, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh, there's a ceasefire, we're not going to shoot down your drone. That's a stupid question. That's a stupid position to take. Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at, and we're not a stupid country.
In other news, President Trump yesterday announcing that he will be raising the detention of Chinese pastor Ezra Jinmingru with Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping during his visit to China. Meanwhile, it comes as it's reported that President Trump's administration is monitoring Chinese persecution of Christian and religious minority groups inside China. And that's after Secretary of the State Marco Rubio telling NTD at the White House that President Trump will bring up human rights issues during his visit. Don.
And Iris, before I let you go here, President Trump this afternoon hosted some special moms at the White House. What did he say?
Sure. So this afternoon in the Rose Garden, President Trump hosting military moms, including Gold Star family moms, as well as angel moms who have lost their children. And President Trump saying that he's making sure the border is secure to honor the sacrifices and losses of these angel moms who lost their children to illegal immigrants, and also touting his border policies. Watch.
And today we're honored to be joined by many strong and truly heroic moms who have stood up for their children, both in life and in a very profound loss. In their honor, we've rapidly turned the worst and most dangerous border in the history of our country into the strongest border in American history. We have no people come in during the last 11 months. We have zero.
And President Trump also using the occasion to highlight his policies meant to support American families, including tax credits, school choice expansion, and initiatives to lower the cost of living. Back to you.
All right, Iris, thank you. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is expecting a response from Iran on its latest peace proposal. Joining us now to discuss is foreign policy analyst Rod Martin, founder and CEO of Martin Capital. So, Rod, good afternoon to you. Now, as you're aware, there was a confrontation between the U.S. and Iran yesterday, and this is amid a ceasefire. And Secretary Rubio said the U.S. military action against Iran yesterday was separate from Operation Epic Fury. I just want you to take a listen to this clip here of what he said.
If you fire a drone or a missile at our destroyer, what are we supposed to do? Let it hit it? We have to respond to it. We have to knock down the missile, and we have to knock out whatever it is that launched that missile. The alternative is to let it sink one of our ships. That's crazy. So, of course, we responded to it.
Okay, so Rod, your comments on Rubio's response.
Well, there are multiple messages being sent here. You know, for the people who actually know what's going on, and by that I mean the Chinese general staff, they realize that the destroyers in question are Arleigh Flight 2 destroyers, which means they're not even the latest and greatest technology. I mean, you attack these destroyers and you just die. And not only do you die, but your buddies back on shore die too. So, you know, this isn't even latest, greatest stuff. And we have a lot of latest, greatest stuff, and we have a lot of new stuff coming on after that. So China's looking at this and thinking about the Taiwan Strait. They're also thinking about the fact that we're in no hurry to open the Strait of Hormuz. Trump demonstrated very clearly an ability to open the strait and then went back to the ceasefire. Well, what's the point of that? Well, it's reminding the Europeans, we don't need this oil and you're not being helpful. And it's reminding the Chinese, we don't need this oil. And you have gas lines across China right now because the strait is closed. So that had an immediate impact. And we saw it yesterday when the Iranian foreign minister goes to Beijing and gets a tongue lashing from the Chinese, who are supposedly their allies. They're saying open the strait. They're saying make peace. That's exactly the opposite of what all the doomsayers said would happen. China was going to come in with troops and forces, and it's going to be World War III. No, none of that was ever going to be true. And Donald Trump and Marco Rubio understood that flawlessly when they launched this operation. So we still have plenty of people with TDS who are desperate to portray this as some kind of loss. But the truth is, we're in the process of reordering the world here, and a lot of people are sitting up and taking notice, regardless of their public words.
Okay, on that note, you're saying we're trying to reorder the world. Rubio said that we actually might get a deal today. So just take a listen to this clip.
We're expecting a response from them today at some point. We have not received that yet, as you know, in the last hour, but perhaps that will come. Their system is still highly fractured and a bit dysfunctional as well, so that may be serving as an impediment.
So, Rod, what is your feeling right now on if we're actually close to a conclusion of this war?
I doubt very much that we're going to get a negotiated settlement that Donald Trump is willing to live with, because his terms are basically unconditional surrender, regardless of what he calls it. He's not going to make them wave a white flag. He's not going to have an Appomattox courthouse or USS Missouri kind of ceremony, but he is absolutely going to demand the fruits of this overwhelming military victory. And I don't see these Iranian leaders wanting to give it to him. So, who can wait whom out? That's the question. And the Iranians have thought that they could wait out Donald Trump because the midterms are looming and, all this causes so much pain to the American consumer. Well, actually, gas prices are much higher in nearly every country in the world than the United States. We're actually under pretty good control. We've got incredible jobs numbers. We've got tremendous CapEx. Everything's coming together for an economic boom midsummer. No matter how many people want to pretend that's not true, the numbers are plain. So Trump actually has more room to wait the Iranians out here than they think. Meanwhile, we're getting reports that the Iranians are actually dumping oil into the Persian Gulf because they simply don't have any more storage capacity, as we've discussed before. And at that point, you either start having to create an environmental catastrophe, which they seem somewhat willing to do, and that'll bring down the condemnation of the world. The Europeans will actually care about that. Or you actually have to shut in oil fields, a lot of which are fragile. And, if Iran starts having to do that in the next few days, they might permanently lose 500,000 or 600,000 barrels a day capacity because some of those fields won't be capable of being restarted.
So are there any circumstances in which the Iranian regime will actually agree to President Trump of getting rid of its nuclear program and giving its enriched uranium to the U.S.? Is there any circumstance where the Iranian regime will do that?
It's kind of hard to imagine, but it's not impossible. I think, the factionalization that we've been talking about and that the Secretary of State was talking about is really the dominant factor. All these guys are looking over each other's shoulders. It's why in the first Islamabad meeting, we had 70 Iranians show up. Well, none of them trust each other. They're all trying to make sure that this faction over here doesn't sell out that one over there. So they're kind of in a hard place and they don't really have anywhere to go. So the longer you run them out of money, and that's really the crucial point of the blockade, which we have not let up on at all during this ceasefire. The blockade is depriving them of between $400 and $500 million a day for a country that is very much a third world economy. These people do not have that kind of money to lose. This is catastrophic, and it means that they don't have the resources to carry on the war beyond a certain point. So again, we're back to that game of chicken. Do they believe that we can outlast them? So far, they haven't. Do we believe we can outlast them? My guess is betting against Donald Trump on this would be very, very foolish. So do we get to a negotiated settlement? Maybe, if and when that happens. I don't think it's going to be this regime in place. I think it's going to be key leaders of this regime negotiating their exit package to go live on the French Riviera and some kind of transition come into place. I don't see them being up for that quite yet, but that doesn't mean they won't be. And if something doesn't break pretty quickly, I think Trump resumes bombing. And when he says it will be more intense than before, you may trust him that it really will be.
So, Rod, here's what I'm wondering. If you're saying that both sides are trying to potentially wait the other side out, does that mean this war is going to be longer than we think?
Not necessarily. I mean, the real ticking clock here is the oil, because at a certain point, you simply run out of places to put it. And like I said, I saw some video about an hour ago that suggests pretty strongly the Iranians are dumping at least some oil into the Persian Gulf just for lack of storage capacity. One of the reasons that we're disabling tankers going to Iranian ports, rather than just letting them go there and then not letting them leave, is every one of those tankers has a tremendous amount of additional storage capacity the Iranians could use to offload oil that otherwise would need to stay in the ground. But the only way it stays in the ground is if they actually shut off the pumps, if they actually shutter the fields. That is a potentially catastrophic thing for the Iranian economy. So they're between a rock and a hard place. We are hitting that point at which that becomes very, very real for them. And I think the president knows exactly what his timeline is. I think if you're going to have a game of chicken here, you better bet on the president.
Too much of your time, but I have a couple more questions I'm wondering here. Do you think the U.S. to this point has achieved most of its objectives? Where are we right now?
Yes, virtually all objectives have been met. The unspoken one that we're all hinting around is regime change. You know, the president was very careful not to enumerate it as one of his specific war aims because you don't know if you can really pull it off. We honestly don't know if that can be done in part or large part through an air campaign. Never been done before. And yet, as you know, we spent 2.5 weeks before the ceasefire taking out individual IRGC units on the ground with drone strikes. We're doing this stuff by remote control from Tel Aviv and Nevada. It's just ridiculous what we're able to do now. And of course, we're going to turn up the heat dramatically if we can't get to a deal. So yeah, I think all the other objectives are largely met. Can they build a nuclear weapon anytime soon? Probably not. Can they reconstitute their nuclear program with anything except the already enriched uranium that's buried somewhere? Well, no, not really. And is there any indication that this president won't go bomb those centrifuges again? No, there's no indication that he won't just come right back. This is our second time in a year. So there's every reason to believe that what we've seen in the decimation of their air defenses, the decimation of their actual Air Force, the eradication of the factories that make the mines that go in the strait, the factories that make the missiles that could launch some kind of terrible barrage at Europe or Diego Garcia or Israel or potentially someday the United States. All of those things have been wildly effective. We can do more, but it's almost to the point of diminishing returns in terms of military targets.
Okay, Rod, just one final thing here. If you're saying that the U.S. has virtually achieved its objectives in Operation Epic Fury, what's a better move right now? Wait for Iran to submit a proposal or declare victory?
Well, Larry Kudlow is very, very disturbed by the fact that we're not bombing these guys, and I agree with him on a certain level, but I think the president understands that the deeper game here is not just Iran. As I said at the outset, we also have Chinese and European audiences and actually Arab Gulf state audiences. You've seen that come together as the Gulf states have become far more supportive as this has gone on of the United States. We're doing this currency swap line with the UAE, most likely. UAE has left OPEC. We're bringing these guys on side. Our East Asian allies are coming along better. The Chinese summit is going to be teed up really nicely, as evidenced by what they just said to the Iranian foreign minister. The only people who seem to be missing the point are the Europeans. And even there, you know, when Donald Trump said we're going to pull 5,000 troops out of Germany, both Merz and Maloney immediately went on TV and basically begged him not to do it and talked about how important the U.S. alliance is. So Trump is just playing a lot deeper game than Iran, and the ceasefire is actually helping with that broader effort even more than it is in Iran. But at the end of the day, in Iran, we're bankrupting them. We're absolutely shutting off their ability to prosecute the war and stay in power. And that time that is passing is helping to an end that could otherwise be accomplished through bombing, but doesn't have to be.
Well, all right, Rod, always enjoy hearing your insight. Very good. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Don.
Newly declassified UFO records show online the Trump administration beginning a broader push to release government UAP files. We have more news after this break.
This spring, New York City comes alive. A celebration of faith, culture, and freedom of belief. Thousands take to the streets of Manhattan to share a message you don't want to miss. Tune in to NTD's special live coverage of the 2026 World Fallen Dafa Day Parade. Wednesday, May 13th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Live from New York City, only on NTD.
Introducing the Quest-Wise Soothing Herbal Eye Patches. It comes with 30 pairs and can be used to help combat tired and strained eyes. The natural herbal formula provides a cooling, minty, and refreshing effect that stimulates natural tears and awakens your tired eyes. Placing the eye patches around your eyes helps to reduce dryness and massages acupuncture points. They can be worn while reading, studying, using electronics, and provide hours of long-lasting relief.
I think building kindness in children from a very young age is foundational to their growth, to building their character, to allow them to share with each other in a classroom and in a space that is safe, like in the Ganjin World platform.
I'm a New York State certified teacher. Currently, I teach in a public school in upstate New York. And I'm also a Ganjin World Campus channel creator.
I've been fortunate to use Ganjin World's Teachers Premium channel for the past 3 years, and it's been shaping my curriculum and teaching both in the classroom setting and in our home school.
If children can learn to support each other from a very young age and encourage each other and help, it'll only strengthen the future of our society.
You can just assure yourself everything on Ganjin campus, on Ganjin World, it will be safe, it will be clean.
Sparked many positive changes in our students.
Ganjin Campus equips educators worldwide with powerful Teachers Premium channels and high-quality learning resources to help children learn and grow safely online. When you support one teacher, Ganjin World matches your support to help another. Support Ganjin Campus. Scan to learn more.
This is how I keep my joints happy.
Omega XL is a powerful natural supplement backed by 40 years of clinical research. Take control of your pain, like Cynthia Bailey.
My knees in particular started giving me pain issues all the way back to my modeling days, from just running through airports, photo shoots. After taking Omega XL, I really started to notice how less stiff I was, especially my knees and my hip. Has Omega XL changed my life? Yes. I barely notice my joint pain anymore. Now I'm like literally sprinting through the airports. My secret is Omega XL.
Pick up the phone and call now to get this exclusive TV offer. Buy one Omega XL and we'll send you a second bottle absolutely free. You'll also get a free bottle of Vitamin XL D3. Buy one, get two free. A total value of over $115, all for just $49.95. You save more than 55% and shipping is free. Backed by a money-back guarantee and is not available in stores. Operators are standing by, so call now.
The top court in Virginia overturning the state's new electoral map. This essentially blocks Virginia Democrats from redrawing congressional districts in their favor. The Virginia Supreme Court today overturning the result of a Democrat-backed ballot measure. Voters narrowly approved the new map in a special election last month. That map would have wiped out 4 Republican districts, giving Virginia Democrats a 10-1 advantage. In its ruling, the Virginia Supreme Court agreed with Republicans that lawmakers failed to follow proper procedure before putting the referendum to voters. The ruling ends one of the country's most watched redistricting fights. It could also bolster GOP hopes of keeping their House majority in the midterms. President Trump reacting to the decision on Truth Social, saying, quote, "Huge win for the Republican Party and America in Virginia." Meanwhile, Alabama lawmakers are considering changes to their own congressional primaries. They could vote on legislation as soon as today. Alabama Republicans are asking federal judges to lift a court order requiring a second largely black district. GOP lawmakers instead want to use a map lawmakers drew in 2023. A federal court initially rejected that map. Black residents currently make up about 48% of the district's voting age population. That would drop to about 39% under the 2023 map. If the court grants Alabama's request, lawmakers could vote to postpone the state's May 19th primaries. Governor Kay Ivey would then reschedule a new primary under the new districts. Tennessee, the latest state to take action in the nationwide redistricting battle. State lawmakers and the governor swiftly approved a map that breaks up the state's only Democrat majority district. Protests erupted inside the state capitol. NTD's Melina Weisskopf reports.
The sole Democrat-held seat and only black majority voting congressional district in Tennessee eliminated. It's Congressman Steve Cohen's Memphis-based district.
The maps were drawn to maximize the potential Republican partisan advantage by winning and having a chance and opportunity to win all 9 congressional districts for the Republican Party.
Protests erupted inside of the state capitol during the special session. Governor Bill Lee signed the new map yesterday after swift action from the Republican-controlled House and Senate. It comes after the Supreme Court ruled that congressional districts must not be based on race, though opposing Democrats aren't convinced.
How can we sit here and say that this is not about race when nearly half of the black people in the state of Tennessee live in that corner of Tennessee that you are deciding to carve into 3 different congressional race spaces when right now there's only one.
Republicans say the new map is a historic opportunity to maximize the conservative representation of Tennessee. The lieutenant governor calling it a fair and legal congressional map that reflects the long-standing conservative character of Tennessee.
For the first time in history, to have an all-Republican delegation sent from Tennessee to Washington, D.C. to represent conservative values, to represent conservative principles. And this gives
Democrats have launched an effort to counter Republican gains in several states. The party this week just launched a campaign to weaken Republican seats in New York. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weisskopf, NTD News.
Former FBI Director James Comey will go to trial in July over his 8647 social media post. Prosecutors argue Comey's actions last summer constituted a threat to President Trump. Comey already waived his initial appearance after surrendering in Virginia. Comey posted a photo of seashells last summer he says he came across while on a walk. The seashells were arranged to read 8647. The former FBI director claimed he believed the arrangement was a political message, not a call to violence against President Trump. The 47th president, by the way. Comey will be arraigned June 30th in North Carolina. The luxury cruise ship dealing with the deadly hantavirus outbreak is on its way to a Spanish island. Officials explain how they plan to contain the virus once passengers leave the ship, but locals on the island remain worried. NTD's international correspondent Arian Pasdar has the latest.
So the ship has finally left Cabo Verde. It's on the move, on its way towards the Canary Islands.
The WHO on Friday saying the cruise ship dealing with a hantavirus outbreak is scheduled to arrive in the Spanish Canary Islands on Sunday. From there, passengers are expected to immediately board planes to be flown to their home countries. This includes at least 17 American citizens. One major question is how health authorities plan to make sure the virus won't spread as passengers leave the ship.
They are doing health check, obviously, looking at any sign like fever or small signs that we
Feeling unwell.
Yeah, exactly, like general fatigue, something like that. But on top of that, the epidemiologist colleagues, they are looking at understanding what happened in that boat and what were the interaction, especially with the case that were previously confirmed.
However, symptoms of the hantavirus, like fever or fatigue, can in some cases start only 8 weeks after exposure. People working at the port in the Canary Islands are against the seemingly unplanned arrival. with some saying they received no official information on how they should protect themselves.
The problem is for the passengers to have contact with people living here on the island, and because of carelessness, the virus gets spread, and then we need to find ourselves in quarantine.
President Trump on Thursday saying he remains confident the virus is under control.
It's very much, we hope, under control. It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people studying it. It should be fine. We hope.
Now, as we previously reported, the virus is widely believed to have come from here, from South America. Now, if you remember the COVID-19 origins, it was first reported that it came from a fish market in Wuhan, China, where people ate a bat soup. Now, with this hantavirus, officials say that a Dutch couple was bird watching at a landfill in southern Argentina, where they then inhaled rodent droppings, which got them the virus. Unfortunately, officials also say that both the husband and the wife of that couple already passed away. Arian Pastar, NTD News.
Good news for the economy. The labor market delivered another upside surprise in April. The Labor Department reports that employers added 115,000 jobs last month, far above economists' expectations of 62,000. The unemployment rate held steady at 4.3%, while private sector hiring also beat forecasts. Healthcare, transportation, and retail helped lead the gains. Government payrolls edged lower in April, driven largely by a decline in the federal workplace. The stronger than expected report is likely to reinforce the Trump administration's message that the U.S. economy remains on solid footing. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett says businesses are investing and factories are going up. Listen.
We've got capital spending. The factory boom that President Trump has talked so much about is visible everywhere. We've got about 70,000 people who have jobs now building factories. Those factories are going to end up, putting machines in and creating jobs. We have the capital goods that go into those factories were up in March 3.3% just for the month alone. I'm not talking.
Wall Street cheered the better-than-expected jobs report as well as the prospects of a peace deal between the United States and Iran. Meanwhile, a federal trade court strikes down President Trump's 10% global tariffs imposed earlier this year. The three-judge panel ruling 2-1 that the administration exceeded its authority when imposing the tariffs without congressional approval. The court also issuing a permanent injunction blocking the government from collecting the duties from Washington state and two companies that brought the lawsuit. Judges say the administration failed to identify the specific economic conditions required under the law to justify the import tariffs. The tariffs under the Trade Act of 1974 took effect in February after the Supreme Court struck down separate tariffs imposed under emergency powers. The Trump administration is expected to appeal the ruling and could move to replace these tariffs with others. The Pentagon is releasing new UFO files. The release comes as the Trump administration begins the process of identifying and declassifying government files related to unidentified anomalous phenomena. In addition to the Pentagon, the initiative involves the Director of National Intelligence, the Director of Energy, the FBI, and NASA. The initial release includes over 160 files, including old State Department cables, FBI documents, and NASA transcripts. A small group of congressional Republicans is pushing for more declassification. In March, Representative Anna Paulina Lula requested the release of 46 UAP videos identified by whistleblowers. Those who are interested can now access the latest UAP videos, photos, and original source documents at war.gov/UFO. And coming up, we talked to a doctor about how to deal with allergies during pollen season. She says showering at night could actually help. Find out more about this right after this break.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside. And then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. You won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
Where did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here. How did I get here? I can see now.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Okay.
And we'd never babysit with a screen. We said we'd never let the toys take over.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight.
Skylar, come here.
Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Allergy season in 2026 is currently in full swing across the U.S. Joining us now for tips on how to cope is health educator Dr. Julie Gatza. So, Dr. Gatza, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I think today's conversation is going to be relevant to so many people. I mean, just to start off, can you set the stage for us a little bit here? What is happening with pollen levels this year? What is the current state that people with allergies are dealing with?
Well, the pollen count is higher than it's usually been, and people are suffering across the country from it. A lot of it can be a mild winter, but whichever it is, seeing the allergy season is lasting longer than it should. A lot of people, when they're dealing with allergies, think of the immune system first, but always keep in mind when your digestive system isn't working efficiently, then your immune system isn't going to be able to fight all the environment because it's not getting the nutrition from the digestion, and it's constantly fighting possibly bad diet, inflammation, different symptoms that might cause the digestive system to not be working properly. So by handling that first is how you actually get the immune system working the way that it's supposed to. A lot of people during this season are outside and they get covered in the pollen. So I have them shower at night, have them get their pets out of the bedroom, don't have them in the bed. Same reason, because they're outside and they're bringing in the pollens as well. And it's no need to roll around in that as well.
So yeah, I want to definitely go deeper into everything you said just now. But before we get deeper into this issue, for those who are not sure whether they have allergies or just a lingering cold, what are the key differences, the key symptoms that distinguish that?
Well, allergies can be so many-pronged. People can have itchy eyes, itchy ears, sinus problems, sneezing. They can have skin problems, rashes. It's generally ongoing. If you have a virus or a cold, it's not that long-lasting, usually resolves within a week or so. But the allergies go along with the sneezing and congestion and a variety of symptoms.
So talking about showering at night, What about showering at morning as well? Is that going to make a difference, or is it mainly at night where the difference is being made?
It's mainly at night since you've been out and about from your house to your car, under the trees, within the environment. So you want to get those pollens off the body, out of your hair. And in the morning, whatever your habits are, but that's not going to make much of a difference.
Okay, what about diet here? Tell us more about what are some of the foods or supplements that can really help?
Well, I've found that a high quality digestive enzyme is the most important thing that a person can take. I think actually more important than a multivitamin, because it's breaking down your food. When you take it with a meal, it breaks down your food. The one that I recommend is called Absorbaid. It increases your absorption by 71%, and it handles all the different types of food from proteins to carbohydrates and fats. All those are the basics to a healthy immune system. When you are breaking down your food and utilizing those nutrients properly, your immune system is the best that it can be. Eliminating things like grains and sugars, coffee, tea, soda pops, those things all inhibit how you absorb as well. So it's not talked about enough, but absorption is the key to getting the rest of the body healthy.
Right, absorption is key. So for those, who might have weaker immune systems right now and they want to improve that, how long would it take? Would it take like many months, or is it really quick?
It's quite fast. If somebody was to take, let's say, the Absorbaid at night, when you take it at night, not with a meal, it breaks down viruses, proteins, it breaks down bacteria and toxins. So if you're inflamed at night and your sinuses are inflamed, you can take a few of them at night. It will break down the inflammation. In the morning, you can feel better just from taking that enzyme, and it's not breaking down your food. Within a week's time, a lot of people can see a tremendous result in their symptoms just because they're increasing their digestive process, they're enhancing the immune system, and it really makes a difference.
Okay, so doctor, earlier you talked about some foods that may be counterintuitive to trying to get better in terms of allergies. You mentioned soda pops. I'm wondering if you have a few more of those foods that you can talk to us about where you should avoid.
Well, sure. I mean, anything that's coming from a package, a box, a can, if it's not on the perimeter of the grocery store, then you're probably eating something that has more than one ingredient, and usually ingredients you don't even understand what's in it. So shopping on the perimeter means you're getting your fresh meats and vegetables, all the different things that way. When you go on the inside of the grocery store, now you're getting things in packages, boxes, and cans, lots of ingredients, carbohydrates, cereals, all those things. They're not helping the body. They certainly taste good, but you want to keep the food to one ingredient type food in the first place. We do have an American diet where we eat a lot of fast food, and maybe it's easier, or I should say better, for you to stop at your local grocery store and get a chicken, get some eggs, get a salad, rather than running yourself through the fast foods and once again putting stress on your digestive system. When that's occurring, your immune system then has to fight without all the nutrition that it should have from a good diet.
Would you say there's any difference at all comparing whole foods to regular foods?
Whole foods.
I mean,
meaning...
organic. Sorry, not whole foods. I meant organic foods, or organic chicken, for example. Comparing that to regular.
I think it's a vast difference, but not everyone can afford to do that. I've been doctoring for 35 years and been correcting people without the organic foods. But as our food source is getting worse, the more you can go organic, the best off.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this. It just popped into my mind. I mean, I'm by no means a health expert. If allergies are linked to your immune system in some way, do allergies have any signal in terms of someone's overall health? Is that an indicator at all?
Absolutely. When somebody has a symptom that the body isn't able to resolve on its own, you have to find out why. Well, what's generally happening is we give a medication to try to handle the symptom, and that's making another body part have to work harder. So the side effects are another body part is overworked. So if we can get to the source of why somebody has symptoms of, let's just say, chronic sneezing and allergies, congestion, I've found that correcting the digestive system will enhance that tremendously, and then the sneezing stops, the congestion stops. If correcting the diet, taking out the things that we all know isn't the best of food, and then eating the whole raw foods, and a lot of protein and cooked vegetables, and knocking out all the fast foods, it helps so much that people see the change within a week or two.
Doctor, I'm so engaged in this conversation because sometimes I get allergies as well. So I'm asking on behalf of viewers, but on the other hand, I'm also asking on behalf of myself. So I have a few more things, if you don't mind, Doctor.
Not at all, sure.
What is it? How important is sleep and exercise when we're talking about trying to cope with allergies?
Well, keep in mind at night, your body does need to fall asleep. It's always best to sleep before midnight. It's fine to get up with the sun, but as the body itself, you want to slow it down when it's getting dark and wake it up with the sun. We do need to regenerate. So the sleep is when the body does that and you're not pressing. So get off the screens, don't watch TV late, figure out what is going on so that you can try to get a good night's sleep and wake up refreshed. That will allow all the systems to kick in and work the way that it's supposed to.
And what
as
about
far as exercise?
Yes, go ahead, please.
You have your lymphatic system. You want to keep the body in motion and constantly keep it that way, because that's going to be how you have life and youth to the body. It creates a need for more nutrients. It creates a need to get rid of the toxins. When you think about, other cultures that, do Tai Chi and they move and they do all these different types of motion, they're in motion. They're keeping the body alive, as compared to people who sit around and, use the remote and, groan when they get up from the chair, and same thing when they sit back down. It's so vital to just keep the body moving. So whatever that is, whether it's a sport you like or taking a walk after dinner or doing some stretching, it's all very important.
All right, Doctor, I don't want to take up too much of your time here. Just one final question. You gave us so many tips today, so many methods. For someone who may be thinking, wow, that's a lot, where do they start?
What I would suggest they do is go to the website, which is naturesources.com. Read about the enzyme, the absorbate that I was talking about. There's lots of information. We have my patients, kids are taking it, their dogs are taking it, the elderly are taking it. And it's simply like having a sous chef in the kitchen breaking down those foods for you. So when you're taking an enzyme like the absorbate, it's going to aid your body's absorption and health and nutrition tremendously. Start there, start at your digestive system, take a look at what you are eating, and start knocking out one of the bad things and putting one good thing in. Don't try to change it all at once. It needs to go on a nice, easy way so it's not overwhelming. But get on the Nature's Sources website first, and that will make a big difference.
Well, all right, Dr. Gatza, really appreciate you sharing your fantastic tips with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
The U.S. has safely removed all enriched uranium from Venezuela. The Energy Department saying this is reducing nuclear risks to South America and the U.S. homeland. The National Nuclear Security Administration and its partners removed some 30 pounds of uranium from a legacy research reactor called RV-1. Officials say the work, which normally takes years, was done in just months. The uranium has since been transported to a site in South Carolina for processing and reuse. The operation comes after the U.S. captured former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro in January. The head of the National Nuclear Security Administration says, quote, "The safe removal of all enriched uranium from Venezuela sends another signal to the world of a restored and renewed Venezuela." A special recognition for White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, the first female Chief of Staff receiving the Woman of Valor Award. More news after this break. Stay with us.
Sweetie, are you ready to go?
In a sec.
You think Granny will like this?
Of course she will.
Let's go.
Hello. Hi. So good to see you. Come in, come in, come in.
Mom, thank you for everything.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that is so beautiful. I love the color. Oh my gosh, the leather. Thank you so much.
Mom, thank you for everything.
Oh, wow.
It's like magic.
It's adorable.
If you're out there and you're watching this message, we need your help and we need it now. This is a typical day at the outpatient department. Every day we see very many cases of children with severe pneumonia. All these children need to be seen and they all need to be seen today. This is baby Priscilla. She's 7 months old. When a child has pneumonia, you really need to move quick. This is like an infection in the baby's lungs. It really hurts for this child to be breathing. It feels like someone is squeezing your chest. If Priscilla doesn't get antibiotic treatment, it could lead to death.
We need your support right now to help save children's lives like Priscilla's. Please call or go online to givetosave.org and give just $10 a month, only 33 cents a day. You can help us provide life-saving medicines, food, and essentials to children in the most need.
The problem we have is we simply do not have enough medicine. It's very heartbreaking to see a child suffer like this.
Please help children like Priscilla before it's too late. All we need are 1,000 monthly donors. Please call or go online with your monthly gift of just $10, only 33 cents a day. Your donation today can help secure additional grants, which can multiply the impact of your support up to 10 times. And when you call with your credit card, we will send you this Save the Children tote bag as a thank you for your support.
With your help, we can save more lives. So please help us.
Your small monthly donation of just $10 could be the reason a child survives. Please call or go online to givetosave.org to help save lives.
A special honor for the White House Chief of Staff. Susie Wiles received the Barbara K. Olson Woman of Valor Award at the Independent Women's Annual Gala in Washington.
I have 2 daughters, grown daughters, and a grandson. And so I wake up every morning thinking about what I can do just in my little piece of the world to make the world and their lives better going into the future. That is enough to motivate me. Others may need more. I don't. That's all I need.
The Woman of Valor Award honors women who advance economic liberty, personal responsibility, and political freedom. The president of Independent Women calling Wiles a key force behind President Trump's political success and White House agenda. In a recorded message, President Trump congratulating Wiles, the first female White House Chief of Staff in American history. The president praising Wiles for her role in his 2024 election victory and her leadership inside the White House. President Trump says Wiles has shown courage and toughness while battling cancer. Denali National Park is welcoming some new residents. Take a look at the latest lead dog puppies. Meet Misa, Sequoia, Rainer, Mammoth, and Tatum, named after some of America's most iconic national parks. Eventually, 2 pups from the litter will be chosen to join sled teams in Fairbanks, and the rest will become canine rangers. Until then, you can watch these pooches 24/7 on the National Park Service Denali Puppy Camp. Scientists visualize a skyscraper-sized tsunami event no one was around to witness, and a pair of brother bears get wet and wild to welcome the summer. Here's a closer look at what's making waves and making splashes.
Scientists are taking their studies of a skyscraper-sized tsunami that recently occurred in Alaska to another level by making a 3D jet ski riding video game out of it. No, not kidding. Let me explain. Researchers say in August of 2025, an entire mountainside broke off of a massive Alaskan glacier, sliding into the sea and creating a gargantuan 1,500-foot-plus tall tsunami that tore through the remote Tracy Arm Fjord, causing immense destruction to the landscape. No one was around to see the cataclysmic event, but scientists say data indicates the resulting tsunami was the second tallest ever on record, nearly as tall as New York City's Freedom Tower. Since then, teams of researchers have been studying the event to determine not just how it may have occurred, but how to raise awareness in coastal residents. Enter a 3D video game-like animation created by a University of Southern California team showing the tsunami from the perspective of a jet skier trying to outrun the huge wall of water. Researchers say the model offers visceral visual public education on the size and scope of events like these. And while they admit the animation may not win any awards, it offers the next best and safest thing to actually being there. Now, from a wall of water to a wet and wild brother bear bathtub jamboree. That's what folks at the Oregon Zoo recently shared on social media, showing a pair of orphaned bear siblings enjoying a spirited splash in a 300-gallon tub in the Northwestern Zoo's Black Bear Ridge habitat. The playful dip was the first of the season, according to the zoo, which labeled the vid simply, "Tubs out, Cubs out." And while the thrashy, splashy glee wasn't exactly a tsunami, ooh-wee, they sure did soak their surroundings while soaking up some sun.
The luxury cruise ship dealing with the deadly hantavirus outbreak is on its way to a Spanish island, and New Jersey is monitoring 2 residents potentially exposed to a person infected with the virus. More news after this break. Don't go away.
This spring, New York City comes alive. A celebration of faith, culture, and freedom of belief. Thousands take to the streets of Manhattan to share a message you don't want to miss. Tune in to NTD's special live coverage of the 2026 World Fallen Daffodil Parade. Wednesday, May 13th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Live from New York City, only on NTD.
At Mathis Home, we have your style in stock now during the Spring Style event. Whatever you're looking for, we have what you need for your perfect bedroom. This plush queen upholstered bed is a great example. It's a hot buy at just $5.99. From traditional to modern or anywhere in between, we can help you find the matching pieces and accessories to fit your own personal style, all at great values. Come find the look that's right for you during the Spring Style event at Mathis Home.
Hi, my name is Brady. When I was born, my parents thought everything was okay. My mom and dad were so excited to take me home.
I still get goosebumps telling this story. Several days in, his skin started to become very cold and clammy. We noticed that he had become blue around his mouth, and something was just very off.
We packed up as fast as we could. Brady stopped breathing twice on the way to the pediatrician. And that was one of the #1 things that just haunts me to this day.
I was born with a congenital heart defect called aortic coarctation. If my parents waited just 1 more hour to drive me to the hospital, I would not be here today. But thanks to research funded by the American Heart Association, I had heart surgery that saved my life. But not every kid is as lucky as me, which is why we need your help. Just call the number on the screen or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help. Get people trained in CPR. Get more hospitals certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. And help fund the next medical breakthroughs to help save kids like me.
When you donate to the American Heart Association, you're helping save lives like my son. And now, my son is happy and healthy thanks to the support of people like you.
When you call with your $19 a month, you'll get this really cool t-shirt as a thank you. Many children die from congenital heart defects. I can't wait to grow up to become a heart surgeon and fix babies' hearts, but until then, I'll keep helping the American Heart Association. So please join me. Just call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org to become a monthly donor and help save lives.
I trod on my glasses yesterday, and I had to pay up front for a new pair that I can't even pick up for another 10 days. So I looked for another way, and I found Select Specs. I ordered online. My new glasses just arrived this morning, and I can pay over the next few weeks. This is the way to buy glasses.
See now, pay later with Select Specs. Next day delivery and deferred payment options only at selectspecs.com.